the MCM Buzz Stage. It's so great to have you. Everyone say welcome to Liv Tyler. So first of all, how are you finding Birmingham?
Very good. This is amazing. I've never really been to one of these before, so it's
Like a Comic Con like this?
I've been to San Diego once, but I've never, in this way, been able to interact with everyone.
It's a little bit more intimate today, I think.
Yeah, I just hugged a lot of people. I've never hugged so many people. I took pictures with everyone.
Well, free hugs are one of the stands, I think, that we have here. So obviously you're here mainly to promote your show, The Leftovers. And that's your first TV regular show, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, it's an HBO show. What channel is it on here?
On here it's on Sky Atlantic.
And is it on this year in the same order as in America? It's on at the same time?
Yeah, so season 2, sort of mid-season. Yeah. And so talking about that show, for people who haven't seen it, how would you describe the premise of the show and your character in it?
Oh boy. Well, one day a large percent of the population just disappears and no one really knows what happened to them. And the story takes place a few years later, and it's about all the people and trying to deal with the anxiety and the stress and the pain of having lost people and not knowing what's going to happen. And it's an ensemble about a lot of different characters. And I play a woman named Meg, who is a little bit crazy. And I join a cult called the Guilty Remnant. And in this season, I haven't been in it very much, but I'm about to come back in a big way very soon. So,
well, you mentioned that obviously Meg loses somebody, and she joins this cult. And one of the things that's really interesting about the show is it shows how people react so differently to grief, even though it's the same event. Was that something that drew you to the show? And
yeah, I mean, I think there's a book that was written, and I loved the way that he told the story. And even though I couldn't necessarily relate to these things that had happened to these people, I related to the feelings and the emotions of all the characters, and I thought it was very beautifully described, and the variety of ways that people sort of react and hide things and deal with things and also kind of act out, that I thought was very interesting, and so it leaves the story very open because there's so many places to go with what happens to the characters, and that's quite fun. And they write it they write it as we go, so we never know what's going to happen until about 4 days before we start filming the episode.
Do you like
that? A lot
that?
of surprises.
Because I suppose that's one of the differences between, say, filming a movie is you have the whole script, whereas now you just get the parts of the show just a few days before. Was that difficult to sort of do?
It took me a minute to get used to, because the fun of being an actor is getting to prepare and kind of getting obsessed, and I don't know, that whole process is really fun when you know what the whole script is and the character and focusing on that. So it's a very new process because we can't do that at all, but that's quite exciting and exhilarating because in a way you have to trust your instincts a little bit more, and you can't be as controlling about things because you just kind of have to wing it in a way, which has been an interesting challenge in itself, to be able to do those things without really preparing at all.
So did you get to improvise a bit in the show?
Yeah, we definitely do. I mean, Damon and whoever is co-writing the scripts with him, they're quite specific about the dialogue, and there's often a lot of story plot things that are really important, but they're happy for us to try things. I mean, usually what I do is I'll do one their way and then do one my way.
Okay, see who gets picked. And one of the interesting things about Meg Abbott is that she seems to me quite angry. Would you think that's fair to say? Certainly for part of it.
Yeah, she's got some anger issues.
And but when you join the cult, the Guilty Remnants, you take a vow of silence. So how was it to act those emotions without speech?
I talk a lot in this one, so it was quite fun to not have to memorize a lot of lines when I came to work in the morning. But it's harder to act without words than you would think. Especially in the big scenes where there's a whole bunch of the GR people together and we're trying to communicate a lot of information and a lot of feelings without words. it's sometimes it is kind of funny. Like we'll just start laughing because it's kind of interesting. But it was fun. It was really. I enjoyed it a lot.
So going into season 2 now, can you say anything about the character development for Meg and what she'll be doing this season?
I didn't really know much because Damon called to tell us all that we were shooting in New York and the show was based there, and then they relocated us to Austin and changed the whole sort of premise and the story. And I was pregnant at the time, and he told me that I was only going to be in 3 episodes out of the whole thing, and I started to cry because I was so sad. But he said, when you're there, you're going to be there a lot. And then I didn't hear anything else. And then the first scene they wrote for me, I raped someone in the back of a van, which was quite shocking.
Wow.
And then I didn't hear anything else. And then the episodes that are about to come up were really amazing for me. And it was kind of like a gift that he gave me for Meg. I just really got to play a big part of her story, which we haven't really seen before, so that was really exciting for me.
So new and interesting parts of the character to be shown.
Yeah, because you never really got to see that much about her, and everybody would always ask me what her deal was and what was happening with her, and I didn't really even have the answers, and so now I got to actually do some of that, which was good.
Brilliant. And I have to ask you, Lord of the Rings, everyone's seen the show. It's one of the most epic, one of the most watched trilogies ever made. So what's your fondest memory of making the trilogy?
I mean, the whole thing was very special and magical, and it was a really unique time in movie making, I think, too. All the technology, when we started filming the films, like the way they would film the size perspective, and like there was giants dressed as us and little people as hobbits and a lot of different technology that we outgrew really quickly. So over the course of the years, it was really interesting to get to watch that part of it happen. And then when you look at the films now, they're like a whole nother universe. But I think there was something so special about those first 3. And I mean, just as a human being, getting to go to New Zealand and work with Peter Jackson and his whole team, and they're all so passionate and real lovers of cinema and of Tolkien, and the whole thing was really special. It was not just a job for everyone, it was really a passion, you know.
And did you get to keep anything from the Lord of the Rings set?
I wish I had kept more. I have a sword. They gave me my sword, but it's in my attic, which is so silly. I should get it out, right?
I think so.
I
Do you
need to
put it on the
put
wall?
it on my wall above my fireplace or something. But yeah.
Well, before we go to fan questions, we just have Matt here from the Cupcake Company who'd like to give you a special present. And if the fans want to get ready for questions.
What's that? Cupcakes. I love them. Thank you so much.
No, you're most welcome.
Wow, did you make these?
Yeah, well, my wife and my bakers make them.
Really?
Publishers.
Amazing. I'm going to give these to my boys.
Spoiled.
I'm going to pretend to give them to my boys.
But eat them
Sneak out in
yourself.
the night and eat them all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so hands
Wow.
up if anyone has any questions.
Hi, as a fan of the Marvel movies, do you think we'll be seeing Betty Ross make her return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe anytime
Oh,
soon?
I wish. I wish. I think that Edward Norton and Marvel had a bit of a falling out.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't go so well. But I thought that Hulk was really good, and I wish that I could be in one again. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
What would you
You
like
should call them and tell them I should be.
We'll have to campaign for that one. What would you like to do movie-wise if you could play another
Marvel? Oh boy, I would have to think about that for a minute.
Okay. Well, I'm afraid actually that's all we've got time for today. I'm really sorry. But it's been absolutely amazing having you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming. Good luck with the leftovers. Everyone can catch it on Sky Atlantic, and keep it here for more MCM Buzz.